Has Atlantis finally been found? Archaeologist makes shocking claim after underwater discovery. Over 2 millennia ago, the Greek philosopher Plato wrote of an incredibly advanced civilization, an empire so powerful it boasted temples adorned with precious metals, majestic harbor walls, and intricate man-made canals, all centered around a sacred sanctuary dedicated to the sea god Poseidon. This city was called Atlantis, a symbol not only of might and pride, but also a tragic tale of divine punishment when mankind became arrogant. For a long time, Atlantis was believed to be purely fictional, a philosophical metaphor rather than a real place. But now, in a shocking announcement, archaeologist Michael Donnellan claims Atlantis may have been found, just 2 miles off the coast of Cádiz, Spain. Donnellan, an independent researcher passionate about lost civilizations, spent 8 years surveying the seabed off the coast of Spain using advanced sonar and LiDAR technology. During his research, he discovered a series of long linear structures deep underwater, forming massive concentric circles, each over 20 feet high, arranged in a strangely organized pattern. These rings appear to be remnants of ancient walls, with the outermost one showing signs of heavy destruction, possibly due to a tsunami. The inner circles seem torn apart, as if a sudden geological disaster had devastated the entire area. Between the rings are intricately carved canals leading to the center, where a rectangular rune stands, which Donnellan believes may be the very temple of Poseidon described in Plato's writings. This discovery is supported not only by modern scanning maps, but also by underwater images revealed by Donnellan at the Space Summit held in North Carolina, an international event focused on alternative historical theories. In the stunning footage, his team is seen diving into dark waters, touching ancient stone walls with flat surfaces, perfect right angles, and rectangular blocks resembling those of other ancient human-made structures. Donnellan asserted, "It matches every detail Plato described, from the geographic layout, dimensions, to the location beyond the Pillars of Heracles, which is today's Strait of Gibraltar, and in the waters around Cádiz, the ancient Greek name for Cádiz." Plato once wrote that Atlantis was a vast empire beyond the Strait of Gibraltar, spanning hundreds of miles, nearly the size of the modern state of Nevada. Donnellan states that sonar measurements align with these dimensions at approximately 341 by 227 miles. So far, he has only surveyed about 1/4 of the entire area, but has already found a multitude of strange underwater structures, including walls, scattered stones, and rectangular blocks about half the size of a car. One notable feature he emphasizes is a rectangular central structure perfectly aligned with the cardinal directions, an extremely rare occurrence in nature, but a detail that precisely matches Plato's description of Atlantis's city layout. Donnellan believes that the catastrophe that caused Atlantis's disappearance may be linked to the Younger Dryas event, a brief but extreme ice age that occurred around 11,600 years ago, which is believed to have contributed to the collapse of many prehistoric civilizations. He suggests a massive flood during this period, possibly triggered by a meteor impact or global ice melt, could have wiped Atlantis off the face of the earth, sinking it into the ocean overnight, just as Plato described. However, not everyone in the scientific community agrees. Many traditional archaeologists remain skeptical, arguing that the structures Donnellan discovered could be natural geological formations or ruins from an as-yet unidentified ancient culture, such as Tartessos, a civilization once located in the same region. Still, many others believe that, even if Donnellan's findings don't fully prove the existence of Atlantis, they open a new door to taking ancient legends more seriously, legends that have often been dismissed as mere mythology. What's even more fascinating is how modern science is bringing humanity closer to mysteries once buried by time and sea. D-scans, LiDAR technology, deep diving gear, and satellite imagery are no longer just tools of the military or industry. They're becoming a kind of time machine, helping us trace clues from a distant past. Atlantis, whether real or not, has become a symbol of the dialogue between legend and reality, imagination and archaeological evidence, mainstream history and alternative possibilities. The journey to uncover Atlantis's secrets is far from over. But with what Michael Donnellan has already discovered, we might be standing on the brink of a historic turning point, a moment when one of humanity's oldest myths may finally find closure. And if that's true, then the dust of more than 10,000 years of history is slowly being brushed away, revealing an epic chapter that the ocean has hidden for millennia. What do you think about this legendary ancient city? As for me, I believe our archaeological journey is just beginning, and there are still so many mysteries waiting to be uncovered. So don't take your eyes off the screen, because right now, I'm about to reveal even more mysterious discoveries with stories even more moving than this one. Let's dive in right now. Skeletal remains over 29,000 years old, discovered in a Thai cave. Amid the pristine and tranquil landscape of Khao Sam Roy Yacht National Park in southern Thailand, beneath layers of earth and stone inside Din Cave, a site once famed for its prehistoric rock paintings, archaeologists have uncovered a discovery that could redefine our entire understanding of early human presence in Southeast Asia. It is the skeletal remains of a child, affectionately nicknamed Pangpond by researchers after a beloved Thai cartoon character. Though small and silent for tens of thousands of years, Pangpond carries with them the story of an entire era, one in which humans may have set foot in this region tens of thousands of years earlier than previously believed. The skeleton was found about 6.5 feet beneath the cave floor, located approximately 410 feet above sea level. Pangpond was buried lying on their back, with the head facing southwest, surrounded by stone slabs. The toes were positioned to touch, suggesting the body may have been lightly wrapped or tied before burial, a symbolic ritual that reveals a deep sense of reverence for the dead, even in those ancient times. Preliminary analysis indicates the child died at around 6 to 8 years old. Pangpond's bones bear a distinctive reddish-brown hue, with clear traces of ash, suggesting that the site once hosted both daily life and complex ritual activities. Radiocarbon dating, conducted by Beta Analytic on charcoal and seashell samples from the soil layer above the burial site, has yielded a date range between 11,000 and 29,000 years ago. Since Pangpond was discovered in a lower layer, experts believe the skeleton is older than 29,000 years, pushing its origin back to the late Pleistocene epoch, a time when Earth's climate was vastly different and sea levels were significantly lower. This was the age of Sundaland, a vast landmass that once connected much of Southeast Asia. The discovery at Din Cave strengthens growing evidence that humans inhabited this region far earlier than history once recorded. Din Cave has long been an important archaeological site, first gaining attention in 1996 with the discovery of red rock paintings depicting humans, animals, and abstract symbols, early expressions of artistic and symbolic thinking in prehistoric culture. But it wasn't until the unearthing of Pangpond that the site truly captured global attention. The recent excavation, led by Thailand's Fine Arts Department (FAD) Regional Office 1, not only revealed the child's remains, but also uncovered numerous artifacts, including coarse pottery, stone tools, and animal bones. These findings confirm that Din Cave served as a continuous human dwelling for thousands of years, from the late Pleistocene hunting and gathering period to the early agricultural stages of the Holocene. Phanam Bhutra Chandra Jyoti, Director General of the Fine Arts Department, hailed the discovery as a breakthrough that could reshape our understanding of human migration, adaptation, and societal development in Southeast Asia. He emphasized that Pangpond's burial method and associated artifacts are not only proof of human existence, but also evidence of a spiritually rich community with a relatively sophisticated ritual system. A stark contrast to earlier assumptions that prehistoric Southeast Asians lived in simple, scattered groups. The discovery of Pangpond also underscores the global nature of human evolution. While regions like the Middle East, Africa, and Europe during the Pleistocene have been extensively studied, Southeast Asia, once submerged under the massive Sundaland, has remained largely unexplored on the archaeological map. Uncovering an intact child skeleton dating back more than 29,000 years is not only rare in archaeological terms, but invaluable for anthropological, genetic, and stratigraphic analysis. It provides a window into ancient human migration and adaptation during prehistoric times. Today, Pangpond is no longer just an anonymous individual. The child has become a symbol of the unknown, a silent witness to an ancient era of human history in Southeast Asia. Every bone fragment, every speck of ash, every stone that encased that tiny body speaks volumes from the past, urging scientists to dig deeper, search further, and re-examine the questions history once thought it had answered. 200-year-old rune inscription in Canada. amazes experts. Amid the quiet, pristine forests of Ontario, Canada, where it seemed humans had long forgotten, lies a secret buried for 2 centuries that has finally spoken out. And it is not just an old inscription, but a sacred message, carefully carved in ancient characters on a stone slab hidden beneath the forest floor for over 200 years. This mystery, once revealed, stunned archaeologists and opened a window into a surprising chapter of history bridging Europe and North America. In today's video, we explore one of the most unusual and moving archaeological discoveries ever recorded in Canada, the secret of ancient rune inscriptions deep in the woods, telling a story of faith, ocean voyages, and nostalgic longing for a distant homeland. The story begins in 2018, when a powerful windstorm toppled an old tree near the town of Wawa, Ontario, a remote area about 155 miles from the Michigan border. Beneath the fallen tree's roots, a flat stone was uncovered. But what caught attention was not its shape, but the strange symbols carefully carved inside a square border. There were 255 characters arranged in a deliberate, non-random pattern. Nearby, a simple carving depicted a boat surrounded by 16 human figures, crude drawings carrying strong cultural significance. So who created this, and why in the wilds of Canada? Ryan Primrose, a senior archaeologist at the Ontario Archaeological Education Centre, spent years decoding the mystery. The result shocked even him. The inscription is actually the Lord's Prayer, a famous Christian prayer, written entirely in Swedish using ancient Norse runes. A strange fusion of an old language, religion, and geography. But why would someone carve Bible verses in runes, an outdated script centuries old, onto stone, and why here in Canada? As is often the case in archaeology, the answer lies in forgotten historical facts. In the 19th century, the Hudson's Bay Company, a massive British fur trading corporation, expanded across North America. To operate trading posts deep within Canada's interior, they recruited many workers from Northern Europe, especially Sweden, Norway, and Denmark. After long ocean voyages, these workers settled at isolated outposts, far from family, homeland, and ancestral faith. At some moment, perhaps out of longing, perhaps devotion, one of them carved their most sacred prayer onto stone, using the language and symbols representing their homeland. Henrik Williams, emeritus professor at Uppsala University, Sweden, who helped decode the inscription, said that Norse runes are extremely rare in such contexts. This suggests the creator was not only fluent in the language, but also poured heart and spirit into each carved stroke. They were writing a piece of personal heritage, a bridge between faith and identity. The inscription is not just a prayer, but an act of connection between human and God, between an exile and their ancestors. The stone was found buried under about 6 inches of soil, seemingly intentionally covered, as if the creator wished to preserve it for future generations, for someone curious, patient, and knowledgeable enough to read it. What's more, no other artifacts were found nearby, leading researchers to believe this was an outdoor worship site, a temporary but sacred space where a small Scandinavian community offered prayers deep in the Canadian wilderness. The Lord's Prayer, found in the New Testament, is the fundamental prayer of all Christians. It speaks of faith, forgiveness, daily provision, and resisting temptation. In Christian tradition, it is considered the perfect prayer. And when found written in ancient runes on a remote stone like this, it's more than just a testament of faith. It's a vivid relic of the flow of culture, history, and human emotion across time and space. This is not a treasure of gold or silver. But in archaeology, sometimes the most precious things are invisible. A silent prayer carved in stone, waiting 200 years to be heard. And today, that prayer has been remembered, not just in words, but with respect for the memories of ordinary people, living and believing far from home. Ancient underground maze, discovered in the historic city of Salisbury, England. The story began when workers were diligently carrying out a 5.3 million ton upgrade project at Salisbury train station. Little did they know that beneath Platform 4, an area thought to be nothing but steel and concrete, lay a completely different world. An ancient underground maze, mysterious and captivating, as if it had stepped out of a historical novel. This discovery happened quite by chance. When the construction crew from Octavius Infrastructure moved an old telephone kiosk to inspect the drainage system, they had to remove some railroad ties. It was at that moment that a long-hidden entrance was revealed, leading directly down into a network of secret tunnels forgotten for decades, possibly even centuries. What's remarkable is not just the existence of these tunnels, but the story they carry, the story of a bygone era still alive underground. Steve Kelly, an asset engineer with Network Rail, couldn't hide his excitement, saying, "This is one of the most fascinating discoveries in my entire railway career. Every day in this industry brings surprises, but that day was truly unforgettable. These tunnels are not merely remnants of old infrastructure, they are corridors of memory, linking the present to the past and shedding light on previously unknown aspects of Salisbury Station's history." According to historians, the underground maze was originally used for the special transportation of goods, specifically beer, cider, and an even more intriguing item, eggs. It is believed that security vehicles use these tunnels to transport barrels of drinks from nearby warehouses directly to the platform, where a refreshment kiosk served passengers. There are also rumors that eggs from Whitchurch Station were delivered to Salisbury through this very underground system, a kind of informal, spontaneous mode of transportation from the past. One particularly interesting feature was a system that lowered barrels from the surface by ropes through a green trapdoor, now replaced by planks and railroad ties. Strangely, those wooden planks remain intact to this day, as if time stood still, waiting to be uncovered once again. The maze leads to a main chamber, the heart of the entire underground network, where old rail tracks were creatively repurposed to support the ceiling. This site stands as vivid proof of the resourceful construction techniques of earlier generations. Within this silent and nostalgic space, one can almost feel the hands that once touched every brick and beam, and imagine footsteps echoing in the flickering light of oil lamps. Dan Sherwood, regional manager of Octavius Infrastructure, described the discovery as a powerful reminder of the beauty of historic infrastructure, those hidden treasures lying just beneath our modern world, silently waiting to tell their story. And true to his words, the story is beginning to unfold, as Phase 2 of the excavation project will soon start, aiming to reveal a previously unseen ancient wall and explore a possible connection between this maze and an old hospital that once stood nearby. Each layer of soil removed uncovers a new chapter of history. In a city accustomed to the quiet passage of time like Salisbury, this discovery is like a bell ringing to awaken memories. Where will the steps in this maze lead us? To a forgotten cellar? A corridor leading to a wartime hospital? Or something deeper, more mysterious, that no one has yet imagined? As engineers continue their excavation and historians begin piecing together clues, the underground maze beneath Salisbury Station is gradually becoming a living symbol of the intersection between modern technology and deep history. With every step into the darkness of this maze, we move closer to unlocking a part of England's untold memory, echoing from beneath the earth, waiting to be heard. 1,800-year-old fortress could rewrite Roman history. A recent archaeological discovery in the Netherlands has stunned scholars and may force historians to rewrite a significant part of Roman Empire history. As part of an advanced project led by Utrecht University, researchers uncovered a Roman fortress dating back to approximately the 2nd century AD, located in Hoog Boerlo, in the Veluwe region, about 15.5 miles north of the ancient Roman border. What makes this discovery especially remarkable is not only its age, nearly 1,800 years old, but also its geographic location outside the defensive line, long believed to mark the northernmost boundary of the empire, the Lower Germanic Limes frontier. This new fortress challenges the long-held belief that this line was the Roman Empire's northern limit. Named the Building the Limes project, the archaeological effort by Utrecht University focuses not only on identifying ancient military structures, but also raises bigger questions about how the Romans interacted with territories and communities beyond their official borders. Professor Saskia Stevens, head of the project, explained, "This is the 4th temporary Roman camp ever found in the Netherlands. Its position north of the Lower Germanic Limes defensive line shows that the Romans did not consider that border the end of their influence. They pushed further into what was once thought to be land inhabited by barbarian tribes." Interestingly, the fortress was discovered through a combination of artificial intelligence, AI, and detailed topographic maps created by LiDAR technology, a laser-based surveying method that measures distances by calculating the time it takes for laser pulses to bounce back. Jens Goeree, a master's student at Saxion University of Applied Sciences, developed a predictive model for potential Roman military camp locations based on terrain, geography, and military strategy data. His model flagged Hugh Burlow as a suspicious site, and after months of surveying, archaeologists confirmed it was a temporary but fortified camp covering about 9 acres, with the characteristic rectangular layout typical of Roman military forts. Though the temporary nature of the camp makes artifact discovery challenging, it does not diminish the historical significance. On the contrary, it offers a fresh perspective on Roman territorial control strategies and military deployment flexibility. This fortress may have existed for only weeks or months, but its presence clearly reflects Rome's intention to penetrate deeper into northern territories, maintain military outposts, and establish networks, both military and commercial, with native tribes such as the Frisi and Chamavi. Within the project's scope, researchers are not only focused on military strategy, but also expand their study to ancient migration, trade, and the long-term impact of borders in history. According to the official project website, the team is investigating how the lime's border affected population movements, goods flow, and even the introduction of crops. One notable example is the presence of lemon trees, species not native to northern Europe, found in archaeological sites, evidencing biological exchange in antiquity under Roman influence. Hugh Burlow, once a quiet spot in the Veluwe forest, has now become the latest piece in the complex puzzle of the Roman Empire's flexible but calculated expansion. Rather than building an impenetrable wall, Rome seems to have constructed a flexible network of influence, where temporary military camps, diplomatic relations with local tribes, and commerce played key roles. Evidence from Hugh Burlow shows that Roman borders were not fixed straight lines on a map, but dynamic zones, where the empire interacted with, adapted to, and extended its influence in sophisticated ways. With strong support from AI and LiDAR technology, archaeology is entering a new era, where millennia-old mysteries can be uncovered from above, through algorithms and digital maps, rather than solely by digging through dusty soil layers. The discovery at Hugh Burlow vividly demonstrates how modern technology breathes new life into archaeology, bringing us closer than ever to the real history of one of Earth's most powerful civilizations. How many more temporary camps like Hugh Burlow lie sleeping beneath forests, meadows, or seemingly unknown lands? And is the true extent of Roman influence wider than we ever imagined? The answer may be waiting in the next discovery, where technology and passion for history continue to meet, awakening memories buried for nearly 2 millennia. Let's stay tuned and see what comes next. 9,000-year-old city reveals the first matrilineal society in human history. Buried beneath ancient layers of soil and rock in southern Turkey, one of the most significant archaeological discoveries of the 21st century has just been unveiled, shaking the foundations of our long-held understanding of the origins of human society. Specifically, at the legendary site of Çatalhöyük, a Neolithic settlement dating back nearly 9,000 years, an interdisciplinary team of archaeologists, geneticists, and biological anthropologists excavated and analyzed nearly 400 ancient skeletons, revealing an entirely new picture of a civilization believed to have been organized around maternal lineage. This groundbreaking discovery was made by scientists from the School of Science at the University of Wollongong, Australia, and published in the prestigious journal Science, just days after the world marveled at the successful facial reconstruction of a forgotten Egyptian female pharaoh. While the Egyptian find helped us visualize powerful historical figures, the results from Çatalhöyük are rewriting an entire social model where power, roles, and inheritance may have been held by women. A key aspect of the study involved analyzing ancient DNA from more than 130 individuals buried beneath the floors of 35 different houses at Çatalhöyük, a prosperous settlement that thrived for over a millennium. Genetic analysis showed that women and daughters were often buried together, spanning multiple generations within the same household, whereas men, although living in the same houses, showed almost no clear biological relation to others in their household. This led to a strong hypothesis that families at Çatalhöyük may have been organized matrilineally, where lineage was passed through women, daughters remained in their maternal homes, and sons left upon adulthood to join their wives' families. This completely reverses the patriarchal family structure that has dominated most of recorded human history. The study went beyond genetics, Archaeologists also found significant differences in grave goods between male and female burials. Women, especially those buried with daughters, typically had more grave offerings, suggesting higher social status or special reverence by the community. Nearly 400 graves at the settlement tell a story that mainstream history has often overlooked. Women may once have been at the center of power, family, and cultural traditions in the earliest civilizations. The research team estimates that between 70 and 100% of female descendants in each house shared direct biological relationships, meaning that over hundreds of years, families maintained a stable maternal lineage structure. This data challenges the long-standing assumption that power and inheritance in ancient societies were always held by men. Dr. Elaine Schatzmans, co-author of the study, emphasized that these findings force us to rethink modern biases about gender roles in history and encourage both the scientific community and society at large to be open to the possibility that women were pillars of society, not only within families, but also in collective power structures. Interestingly, despite clear evidence of a matrilineal model, many current scholars remain hesitant to definitively name it as such. Benjamin Arbuckle, an archaeologist at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, who was not involved in the study, wrote in Science that if the situation were reversed, men being central and women migrating after marriage, the conclusion of a patriarchal society would be reached without hesitation. But when results show a matrilineal pattern, the academic world seems more cautious, as if recognizing women's powerful roles is harder to accept. He noted this as clear evidence of cognitive barriers many scholars face when confronting the reality that women were not just supporting players, but central to ancient civilizations. Çatalhöyük has long been known as one of the world's most impressive archaeological sites, featuring closely built houses with no streets, where people moved across rooftops and lived in tightly knit communities. Now, with DNA data decoded from thousands of years-old skeletons, the site tells a different story. A story of the earliest known matrilineal society, where women were not only the hearthkeepers of their families, but also guardians of heritage, tradition, and possibly the highest social power in the community. This discovery is not just a milestone in archaeology, but also a reminder of the richness, diversity, and surprises of human history, where countless secrets remain buried beneath layers of time, waiting to be uncovered. 3,500-year-old ancient city, discovered in Peru. Hidden among the arid hills of northern Barranca province in Peru, an ancient city has just been uncovered after lying dormant beneath layers of earth and rock for more than 3 millennia, carrying secrets that could reshape humanity's understanding of the connections between ancient civilizations in the Americas. On July 3rd, Peruvian archaeologists officially announced the discovery of Panico, a 3,500-year-old city believed to have been a major center for trade and cultural exchange among Pacific coastal communities, the Andes Mountains, and the distant Amazon rainforest. This city flourished alongside early civilizations in the Middle East and Asia, placing it on the map as one of the world's earliest urban centers. Panico is not merely an ancient settlement, but a missing piece in the history of pre-Inca cultural development in South America. The first images of Panico were revealed through drone footage, showcasing a magnificent and mysterious scene. A circle of stone and adobe houses hugging the hillside, forming the city's central area at an elevation of about 2,000 feet above sea level. This architecture not only demonstrates the advanced building techniques of its inhabitants, but also reflects a tightly organized society capable of supporting religious, political, and commercial activities. Though worn by time, the remaining ruins show Panico was once a vibrant hub with numerous well-constructed structures. Panico was established roughly between 1800 and 1500 BCE, located close to Caral, the oldest civilization in the Americas. Its emergence soon after Caral has drawn significant archaeological interest, suggesting Panico may have been a direct cultural successor, evidencing the continuous development and inheritance among indigenous communities over thousands of years. During the press conference announcing the discovery, Marco Machaque, a key archaeologist from Peru's Ministry of Culture research team, emphasized that Panico's importance lies not only in its age, but also in its strategic location, likely serving as a trade crossroads connecting geographically distinct cultures with strong economic and ritual ties. After 8 years of persistent study, archaeologists have identified at least 18 different structures in the area, including sacred temples, complex residential zones, and notably, a central plaza featuring uniquely decorated relief walls. The carvings in the plaza depict the pututu, a conch shell trumpet known for its resonant sound, capable of traveling great distances, traditionally used in ceremonies or as a long-range signal. The discovery of the pututu at Penico reinforces the hypothesis that this site was once a large ritual center, potentially linked to distant communities through sound. Beyond architecture and decorative art, the artifacts found at Penico are rich and astonishing. In buildings and ceremonial areas, archaeologists uncovered clay sculptures of humans and animals, as well as ritual objects and jewelry made from beads and seashells, materials uncommon in the region, indicating extensive trade networks and cultural influences. These artifacts not only attest to a rich material culture, but also reveal a highly developed and organized spiritual life among the ancient inhabitants. This discovery further confirms Peru as the cradle of mysterious and diverse pre-Inca cultures, alongside world-renowned sites such as Machu Picchu, nestled atop the Andes, and the vast enigmatic Nazca lines etched across the desert. Now, Penico, though only partially excavated, joins the ranks of significant archaeological heritage sites that promise deep insights into how ancient South American communities built cities, organized society, practiced beliefs, and connected across challenging landscapes. In the grand tapestry of human history, Penico shines as a newly illuminated beacon from the shadows of the past, reminding us that countless untold stories, unknown civilizations, and unimagined connections among ancient peoples still await discovery. Reconstructing this city is not only an archaeological achievement, but also a journey that opens new questions about human exchange, interaction, and development during the earliest phases of civilization. Ancient 10,000-seat theater, hidden beneath olive groves in Greece. Archaeologists, following decades of patient searching, have finally discovered the remains of a large-scale ancient theater believed to have seated up to 10,000 spectators. A stunning feat not only of engineering, but also a vibrant symbol of the spiritual and artistic life of ancient Greeks. According to Heritage Daily, this is one of the most remarkable archaeological discoveries in recent years and could shed new light on the strategic and cultural significance Lefkada once held during the golden age of the Greek world. Lefkada, an island at the western gateway of Greece, was under Corinthian control around the 8th or 7th century BCE. During this period, the Corinthians built a fortified city featuring massive public structures such as ports, city walls, and especially a theater, the heart of cultural life, hosting theatrical performances, religious festivals, and iconic community events. While the existence of this ancient theater was previously noted in old archaeological records, it wasn't until 1997 that researchers detected unusual geological anomalies beneath a vast olive grove, the first clue that Lefkada's great secret lay just beneath their feet. However, it was only in 2015 that a large-scale excavation project officially began, involving cooperation between multiple archaeological bodies and local authorities. Ancient olive trees and some modern structures had to be relocated to make way for careful probing and excavation. From beneath the soil and the passage of time, a semicircular theater began to emerge, revealing architectural details that astonished the archaeological community. A circular stage measuring up to 54.6 feet in diameter, intricately decorated corridors, and a seating area consisting of 24 rows curving in a semicircle. The theater also featured a separate section reserved for high-ranking officials, clear evidence of a socially stratified system and a complex cultural life at the time. Although the structure suffered considerable damage from centuries of agricultural activity, especially erosion caused by olive tree roots and soil cultivation, a portion of the stage and many seating rows remain remarkably well preserved. This has raised hopes that the ancient theater of Lefkada could be restored and added to Greece's list of culturally valuable heritage sites, alongside famous locations such as Epidaurus, the most renowned theater of ancient Greece, and Athens, the political and artistic center of antiquity. More than just an architectural marvel, this theater offers a window into the spiritual life of ancient Lefkada's inhabitants. That an island of modest size housed a theater capable of seating 10,000 people indicates it was once a major gathering place able to host large-scale artistic festivals for the entire region. This supports the hypothesis that Lefkada was not merely a port city, but also a crucial center for performance arts and cultural exchange, connecting communities from coastal areas deep into the mainland. While scientists have yet to determine the theater's exact date, whether it was built during Corinthian rule or later in the Hellenistic period, the structure clearly reflects classic architectural style, with construction techniques demonstrating timeless craftsmanship. The theater's existence also helps explain Lefkada's strategic role in the Mediterranean's trade and cultural network, alongside other island relics such as its fortified walls and ancient port systems. With restoration plans underway, Lefkada promises to become an exciting new archaeological destination, attracting not only researchers but also tourists passionate about history and the arts. This discovery once again confirms that beneath the most ordinary layers of soil, like an unassuming olive grove, there may lie a world of glorious history waiting to be awakened. To say that the ancient theater of Lefkada is not merely the ruin of an architectural work, but a vivid testament to the prosperity, creativity, and artistic passion of people thousands of years ago, a poignant reminder of the enduring power of culture through time, is truly no exaggeration. Over 3,000-year-old distilled liquor discovered in eastern China. In 2010, at the dazzling Daxinzhuang archaeological site in Jinan City, Shandong Province, China, experts opened a corroded bronze vessel and discovered inside an ancient liquid that tells the story of a distillation technology dating back more than 3,000 years. This bronze artifact, dated to the late Shang dynasty, approximately 1600 to 1046 BCE, stands as a vivid testament to the technological and cultural power of a glorious era. For years, archaeologists carefully unscrewed the vessel's lid, taking great care not to damage the corroded material until they finally uncovered this rare liquid, something far more complex than ordinary water or fermented wine. The sample was sent to the Joint International Research Laboratory for Environmental and Social Archaeology at Shandong University for in-depth analysis. The results stunned the scientific community by revealing the presence of ethanol, the characteristic alcohol of distilled liquor, while showing no trace of sugars or proteins, two common components in fermented beverages made from fruits or rice. This provided strong proof that the Shang people had mastered and employed distillation technology, an advancement in alcohol production far earlier than previously recorded. According to researcher Wu Meng, the Chinese government and scientific community have long debated the origin and timeline of distilled liquor production in China. Although ancient distillation tools from the Han Dynasty period, 202 BCE to 220 CE, have been discovered, along with physical evidence of distilled alcohol from that time, the liquid sample found at Daxinzhuang suggests that China's history of distillation began at least 1,000 years earlier than earlier records indicated. Thus, distillation technology, once thought to have developed sporadically during the Han era, actually appeared at the end of the Shang period and may have spread widely across the Huaxia region very early on. The significance of this discovery lies in establishing that distilled liquor was not a later innovation of Western civilization, but originated in ancient China thousands of years ago. Distillation, the process of separating ethanol through evaporation and condensation, requires knowledge of temperature control, suitable materials to make sealed containers, and fire management techniques. All these demonstrate that the ancient people possessed sophisticated skills and engineering knowledge ahead of their time. Daxinzhuang was a key Shang archaeological site, a center of administration, ritual, and trade. It has long yielded valuable relics such as ceramics, bronze artifacts, jewelry, and daily utensils. However, until now, no evidence had confirmed the practice of distillation. The discovery of the ancient liquid inside the bronze vessel completes the cultural narrative of the time. Not only was this a place where fine craftsmanship and bronze work flourished, but also where people knew how to distill alcohol, potentially for ritual, medicinal, culinary, or recreational purposes. Furthermore, the use of distilled liquor may have carried religious significance, linked to Shang Dynasty's sacrificial rites in which alcohol played an important role in numerous grand ceremonies. Finding distilled liquor at a historically rich site like Daxinzhuang has sparked new hypotheses. Was this an early center of commercial, ritual, or medical alcohol production? Did the Shang court commission distillation to supply ceremonial or military needs, a common demand in ancient civilizations? These complex bronze tools show that the ancients understood alcohol's chemical value and how to harness it systematically. The discovery at Daxinzhuang not only rewrites the timeline for distillation technology, but also opens new paths for research into ancient pathology, since distilled liquor was used as a disinfectant, medicine preservative, or subtle stimulant in traditional therapies. Future studies might analyze remaining compounds, such as alkalis or phenols, to better understand the roles alcohol played during the Shang era. On a broader scale, this discovery reaffirms China's pivotal position in the history of global science, technology, and culture. While it was once believed that distilled liquor emerged in the medieval Arab world in Europe, history is now being rewritten. Ancient China was the true master of the art of distillation over 3,000 years ago. This is not only a source of national pride, but also evidence of a highly advanced tradition in chemistry, medicine, and bronze technology. What about you? What are your thoughts on today's archaeological discoveries? Please share your opinions in the comments below, and don't forget to give our channel a like and subscribe so you won't miss any other exciting discoveries. For now, goodbye and see you next time.